Welcome to week 8. This is the third mini lecture for this week. And also this is the second week in which we are discussing the spine and the pelvis. In this particular lecture episode, we've moved on from performing flexibility type exercises in our rehabilitation program now to focusing on building muscle strength. And as you can see in this particular lecture episode, we'll speak to muscle strengthening exercises, provide a number of examples, and then move on to uh, neuromotor control. So uh, as with other body segments, hip strengthening type exercises will commence more so in the active phase or the early resistive phases of rehabilitation. It may include isometric type exercises, and that may be inclusive of both concentric and eccentric exercises. And these exercises will rely on the use of gravity as the method for resistance. This is least difficult and may progress in latter stages to include weight cuffs, resistance bands, and machines. The exercises are performed in a smooth and controlled manner, being able to move the hip through a full range of motion. Low intensity and high repetition type exercises can be replaced as one progresses with higher loads and fewer repetitions, once again as one's strength and control start to improve. We're really focusing on exercises that work on the deficiencies observed in the trunk, knee, and ankle. And with the isometric exercises that are performed earlier on in the strength phase, uh, one should build up to maximal tension and hold for 5 to 6 seconds as a general recommendation. They can then be released to full relaxation before repeating the exercise. Isometrics can be performed several times throughout the day in sets of at least 10 repetitions. Once again, earlier on in the rehabilitation program, and when the muscle is weaker or when the range of motion is limited. Now, as one progresses, once again, body weight resistance exercises using gravity as resistance can be quite challenging for the hip. If you imagine the lower extremity can weigh around 25 pounds in a patient who's around 150 pounds as an example. And so that in itself is resistance for working on muscles of the hip region. Weight does not necessarily need to be added due to the effect of gravity. In addition, hip strengthening exercises are often incorporated into other rehabilitation programs working on the core, spine, shoulder, and other lower extremity programs. We're going to go through a number of examples on the subsequent slides. Before that, though, I will just mention that resistant band exercises can also be integrated once again as strength gains and control are made with these earlier exercises that we've just mentioned. So let's go through some examples on the next couple of slides that highlight various strength exercises. So these exercises really just rely on gravity and one's own body weight. On this particular slide, as an example, working on hip adduction, that is shown on this slide, particularly in the top 3 images on the left of your screen. And executing these types of movement involve keeping the involved extremities knee and hip extended, and the patient lifts the extremity against gravity in the frontal plane. If the patient lifts the fully extended top extremity into abduction and maintains that position, while also lifting the bottom extremity to meet the top extremity, the exercise therefore becomes more progressive or more difficult because there is a greater need for trunk stabilization. And so that shows in the middle of those three images. And then an alternative position is with the top extremity placed on a supporting object, such as the seat of a chair. And that is shown in the bottom of those three images on the top left of your screen. Now, there are additional exercises such as performing a bridge for the hip extensors. This can also be progressed by going from a two-leg support to a one-leg support as illustrated on the top right of your screen. And then a final exercise is hip abduction against gravity, and that is once again shown on the bottom right of your screen as well. Now, these are exercises, once again, that rely solely on one's body weight owing to the fact that gravity provides quite a resistance given the weight of the lower extremity. If we do progress, though, there are some resistance band type exercises, including walking abduction, shown on the top right, or resistance-based hip abduction. And this example is shown on the bottom right, and there is a correction provided. Now, what you can see is that in the image on the bottom right, the patient essentially is tightening the quadriceps and gluteal muscles and then abducting the extremity out to the side. The goal is really keeping the pelvis level and the foot above, but close to the floor to prevent hip hiking, which is shown on the right of the screen. Individuals should be encouraged to engage their core. If the patient hikes the hip or laterally bends the upper trunk, then the patient should perform the exercise in front of a mirror to watch for such deviations that are considered to be undesirable. Additional exercises as one progresses that can be performed can involve the use of machines or equipment. And so a number of examples like squats or lunges or leg press machine exercises are listed on the screen. And there are obviously multiple types of machines that can be used. Another more advanced strengthening exercise would be engaging the use of incorporating the Swiss ball exercises would be a more advanced option, and once again performed once a certain level of strength and control are demonstrated with these preceding exercises. Lastly, in this lecture, I will just highlight very briefly the role of neuromotor control and proprioception type exercises. Balancing exercises can be utilized more early on in the rehabilitation process, whereas more advanced neuromotor and proprioceptive type exercises would be performed later on as one starts to work on other components of proprioception, such as coordination and agility type exercises. The use of rapid box type exercises, such as a rapid step up and step down, can be used, or hopping over the boxes as well. Resistance bands can also be used to progress these types of activities. Plyometrics can really maximize the use of agility, strength, power, and coordination, however, are not suitable for all patients. Functional and performance-specific exercises, once again, are performed later on in the rehabilitation program and really depend on an individual's sport or work-related requirements and once again, speed, distance, repetitions, and difficulty will be incorporated and progressed as required to meet the demands of either performance or work. And that concludes this lecture episode.